Hi, my name is Sara Arboleda, and my project for the course is on micromanagement. I decided it was a bit interesting as I have experienced micromanagement before and I wanted to get a better look at it. The title of my project is Micromanagement. Are you the culprit or the victim? There is a quote by Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States. He says, "The best executive is the one who has sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and self-restraint to keep from meddling with them while they do it." I chose this quote because it perfectly represents what micromanagement is all about. A good manager is the one who is able to trust his employees to do the work that they are assigned to do, while a micromanager is the one who meddles with the employees' work and does not trust what they are doing. Now, I googled the definition for micromanage, and this is a screenshot of what I was able to get. So, to micromanage is a verb, and it is to control every part, however small, of an enterprise or activity. That was the main definition I found, and it corresponded with all the other definitions that I was able to find. On this presentation, I am going to be mainly talking about what micromanagement actually is, what the effects of it are to the organization, to the employees, and to the manager themselves. Are you the micromanager? We often tend to have a negative connotation to the word, so it is important to realize if you're the one being the micromanager, or are you being micromanaged? And as a result of whatever option you choose, whether you're the micromanager or are you being micromanaged, then you might find some tips on to get a happier staff in your workplace. So, according to the SMB Resource Archives, micromanagement can be defined as exercising excessive control of a project or group of people. So, in other words, you can think of micromanagement as my way or the highway, and they want you to choose their way. And a micromanager is generally thought as the bully of the workplace, but that is not always the case. We have perfectionist micromanagers such as Steve Jobs. He was known to be a perfectionist in his company. He would pay attention to detail, but not in a rude or condescending way. People like him care so much about their company that they want to be involved with as much as they can, although they have very little unoccupied time. They micromanage for the passion that they have for their company, but it is not usually seen as immersive by their fellow employees. In other words, their employees are not constantly stressed by them. On the other hand, there is the other kind, the pathological micromanagers who do it to get some sort of power boost. These are the stereotypical ones, you might imagine. The restaurant manager who requires everyone to do a location check-in on their cell phones when they claim that traffic has made them late. The overly obtrusive companies that require your Facebook password. The office manager who requires brief reports written every 30 minutes on the status of the workday. In the three scenarios described above, you might infer that there is an uncomfortable tension in that workplace. Definitely not a place you would want to spend more than 30 hours a week, which is essentially what you are going to college for. Micromanagers are not only damaging to the company's goals and their employees, but they are damaging to themselves. Micromanagers have an effect to the company, to the employees, and to themselves. And I will go over it in this scenario. So imagine working on a report all of Sunday. It is due tomorrow, so you give up your Sunday fun day to do this paper. At around 10 p.m., you feel great about what you wrote. You ask your friend who stayed at your house watching Netflix while you wrote it what they thought of it, and after proofreading, they give you a thumbs up. You get up for work at 6 in the morning and you arrive at your company's headquarters at 8. Robbie, which is going to be your micromanager in this scenario, asks for your report. After half an hour gone, Robbie comes back almost delirious. He says to you, "Are you serious? What did I tell you about using this type of font? This is what I have to turn into my higher up and you use Calibri?" So at this point, everybody's looking at you around the office because Robbie didn't have the decency to talk to you in a normal tone of voice. You politely apologize for your font error and say you will fix it in about 45 seconds, which is usually the amount of time it takes to open up Microsoft Word, change a font, and save the document. Robbie tells you to forget it, that your report was useless anyway, and that you did not report any necessary data, when you know perfectly well that you stayed up all of Sunday and it is very accurate. So here you feel incompetent. You feel as if, okay, so the work I work hard on isn't good enough for Robbie. What am I supposed to do anyway? The harder I try, the more unhappy he is with me. So after he begins to not appreciate your work, you say to yourself, well, why try hard anyway? Anything I do is not going to have him satisfied. So as a result, you might start to feel incompetent when completing tasks that must be turned into him. No, you're not the only person that Robbie is like this with, though. It is basically everyone he directs. As months pass by, you realize he has an effect on everyone. No one seems to come to work motivated to be productive, and creativity falls, and call-outs seem to multiply. As call-outs seem to multiply, you realize that your coworkers are quitting and or they're getting fired. Your department's goals are not being met, but no one seems to care anymore because they're not motivated. The only person that cares is Robbie, who becomes red furious every time his numbers are red. Now you must ask yourself, are you the Robbie in this situation? Are you the micromanager? In order to reach effective solutions, one must be honest with themselves. Are you the micromanager that you would dread working with? In other words, are you your own enemy? Truly answer some of these questions. Do you feel intimidated when a new employee at your workplace has similar experience or qualifications as you? Do you feel jealousy when someone is promoted in their company? Do you tend to hire people who lack very good talent? Do you shut down the ideas of others and always prefer your ideas? Do you often feel insecure or constantly doubt yourself in the workplace? Do you have prior addictions such as alcoholism? Do you feel like you must be the first to arrive and or be the last to leave your workplace? Do you diminish the credit others may receive in projects? Do you find yourself in a supervisor position with little to do? Are you constantly hiring new people in your company? If your answers are mostly yes above, you might be a micromanager. It is important that you identify if you are so you can reach a fix. It is better late than never. So you are a micromanager. What do you do now? Well, it is important that you gain back trust in your team and realize that your employees are there to do a great job too. According to micromanagement, underlying motivations and proposed solution, you should apologize to your team and encourage them to give you feedback. You must also reinforce staff roles. As said before, these people are there to do a job. Clearly tell them what they have to do and try not to meddle in what they're supposed to do. Praise is always well received by everyone, including your employees. Make sure to compliment them when they do a bad job, and if they do something you don't agree with, constructive criticism is your go-to. Weekly meetings where staff are recognized and new goals and objectives are defined are important to the well-being of an office space. The most important aspect, however, is that feedback must be given. Listen to what your employees tell you, and you will be listened to. A team effort can only happen through collaboration. Now, are you the one being micromanaged? Have you been reminded of any of your higher ups while listening to this presentation? As done with the micromanagers, answer these questions honestly. Is any feedback / constructive criticism you have given been worked upon? Do you find yourself arriving home with more stress than what you left with before work? Do your monthly objectives seem to be getting harder as the months go by? Are a lot of your coworkers constantly leaving and new ones getting hired? Is there a lot of second guessing on your part when turning in assignments? Are you intimidated to ask your manager for advice on your work? Do you feel as if you have not had a real chance of promotion for a while? Does your career feel stagnant at your current company? If the answer mostly yeses, you might be micromanaged. Think objectively and not subjectively to have the most honest feedback. So, if you are being micromanaged, what now? You must realize that changing another person is difficult. It is often impossible. And not a lot of people have time to be changing somebody in their workspace. In order to start changing how your manager acts towards you, you must increase your trust with them. Talk to them, listen to them. Most likely, their micromanagement behavior comes from deeply rooted in their personalities or things they have survived through. What exactly do they need when they are constantly pestering you? Is there something specific that you're not telling them, that you're not showing them? If you seem like you cannot get rid of their issue, you must talk to their higher ups if they are not micromanaging them as well. And you must also consider, can you handle this situation any longer? Is the money you're getting paid worth being almost or completely bullied? You must take control of the situation and realize that being stressed at a 40-hour work week is not where you want to be. As a result of finding if you're the micromanager or if you're being micromanaged, you will reach a happier staff, whether you're part of that staff or whether you're managing that staff. You will find increased happiness of employees. All of a sudden, coming to work is not so bad when Robbie isn't constantly pestering his employees over a font face. Increased production, since no one has been condescending towards your work and your coworkers' work, everyone has been doing great. If your workers are not afraid to turn in work to you, you might find that they are often taking more creativity. Now, weekly meetings have a purpose other than making you lose an hour of your Friday night TV binge. You see changes coming from their feedback. Promotions happen. Jealousy has begun to disappear because you, as a micromanager, realize that everyone's there to get ahead in life, or you, the one being micromanaged, all of a sudden don't have a micromanager holding you back. Now your coworkers are less hesitant to apply for greater positions. And to end this presentation, the most important part is that there's less headaches at home. If you're the micromanager, you are stressing less about what you can and cannot control at work. If you're being micromanaged, you are stressing less about feeling competent enough at your own job. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight on what micromanagement really is.